Coach, recapping a busy weekend, you had some guys in Vegas, you had some guys at the Patriot Open and George Mason. I guess we'll start off with Vegas. It's just probably one of the toughest regular season tournaments in the country. Just what were your thoughts on how the guys performed there?
Well, I mean, I think that, like you mentioned, it's probably the toughest tournament outside of the postseason and NCAA championships in the country. And our guys got a chance to wrestle a lot of nationally ranked guys. Every guy we took out there won matches, and we were able to pick up a couple more nationally ranked wins, which is what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to measure ourselves against the best guys in the country and let our guys know what the level is that they've got to elevate themselves to by the time the national championships roll around. And I think our guys got some good experience. I think every time you wrestle that level of competition, your weaknesses get exposed. And so I think there's some areas that we see now that we've got to improve on. But all in all, I mean, I was happy with the effort our guys showed, and we're getting better. We're building, and our guys are getting better each and every time out.
That's a tournament you've started doing for several years in a row now, and I know it's all work, but what's that like to experience that for your guys to travel somewhere maybe haven't spent a lot of time in their lives and just to be part of that scene?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of factors. I mean, obviously, the time difference, the time change is something that's really a little bit of an adjustment because, we're starting the 6 o'clock session on Friday evening, and that's like almost 9, 10 o'clock here by the time they wrestle. And so that's a little bit of an adjustment, just kind of a little bit later in the days and just the travel, getting out there. But I think just being around that level of competition and some of the best teams and the best wrestlers in the country, it gives our guys a little bit of a taste of kind of what the national tournament's going to be like and what they're trying to elevate themselves to prepare for that. And I think that obviously seeing that level of wrestling gives them a perspective of kind of where we're at and where we need to be.
And you had, I think, maybe 6 more guys attached at the Patriot Open in Virginia. I guess we'll start with there and how you thought they performed. You also had unattached guys that we can touch on in a minute.
Yeah, I thought that they placed five. I think we had 5 placers in the Patriot Open, and I'm not sure how many we wrestled, but we had 6 guys attached, and then I don't know, maybe a dozen guys unattached or close to it. And it looked like that those guys battled hard. Coach Hunter and Sean Carter and Drake Acklin, those guys that took them up there, they all said that they competed hard and gave good effort. And so it sounded like it was very similar effort to what our guys showed in Vegas. And some of our young guys got some wins and some quality wins. And so I think it was a great team effort. And I think, splitting squads is kind of tough on that weekend, but I was kind of happy with the energy and the effort that those guys showed as well.
Like you said, you had a lot of guys go up there unattached that figure out their own way to compete. What did that say to you about this group and their commitment and their passion for sport?
Well, I think it shows the buy-in of our team and our team culture. I mean, we only took 6 guys attached, so all of our unattached guys had to make their own transportation. They had to pay for their own entry fees and had incurred all the expenses to go to the tournament. And I think that kind of commitment shows when we have that many guys that go unattached. It shows their commitment and their buy-in to our core beliefs, our core values, and the fact that they just love to compete and put it on the line. And I think that that's probably one of the things that struck me this weekend when I was flying back from Vegas is just how proud I was of that kind of a statement by our guys that we had so many guys go and wrestle unattached. I think it speaks to our culture and kind of the progress and the belief and the buy-in of this team.
Looking ahead, the next event on the schedule is a duel at Duke next Wednesday. Just your thoughts on going to Durham and facing the Blue Devils again?
Well, I haven't followed them that closely. I know they were up at the Journeyman Classic that we wrestled in earlier in November, so I saw them there, familiar with some of the coaches. Obviously, one of our former alumni is one of the assistants there. And I think they're having a pretty good year this year. I think they're like 5-2 in duels and have had some decent wins. So we know that's going to be a test. And we've got to get our guys up and ready for that, and hopefully show some progress from this past weekend. We got to finish through exams, though, right now. Our guys are currently taking their final exams for the fall semester, and so we're trying to get our guys through that, keep them healthy through that and rested, and then we will, we'll have a good, 4 or 5 day training cycle leading into Duke before we close out the year.
Yeah, I would imagine just last thing that this time of year you have to be a little bit more flexible on training schedules or just working with that part of the academic calendar. And what's that been like with this group?
Yeah, so this week's always a little bit tricky. Just in, you've got different guys that are having their exams scheduled at different time, and it's really difficult to make a one single practice time work. So we try to make it work, kind of looking at everybody's schedules and build a practice plan for the week. But our practice times are all random this week, and there's still a couple of guys that are going to miss the normal practice time that we'll have to do an individual with, just fitting them in around their exams and that kind of thing this time of year and this week.
Anything else stick out as you kind of enter this part of December with holidays coming up and just maybe a little lighter on the duels and tournament schedule, but still a lot of practice time ahead?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, is this is probably, we're heading into our last contest for the fall semester. And I think that I'm really proud of the growth and the progress this young team has made. I do believe that we are getting better each and every time out. I'm happy with the team buy-in and the culture and the belief and the pride in our program right now. And I think it's been a really good first semester. I compare it and contrast it with last year and some of the things with last year, and I'm very happy with the progress this team's making, where their attitudes are at, and the work that they've put in this first semester. And so we want to go to Duke and finish with a good dual meet there, and then we are really excited to kick off the second semester, kind of getting into our conference, the meat of our conference schedule.